be African and discuss the issues that are going on.
Because that's been an issue.
That has been a major issue.
It's been taboo to talk about us, talk about our issues, talk about our problems.
Why? Why are we afraid to talk about it? Why are we afraid to?
I think that's shifting, though.
You think it's so?
Oh, it definitely has shifted.
Okay.
Or is shifting.
It has shifted and is continuing to shift. And that's, we have to be in our power. And that awakening, that quickening that's happening, especially with technology and what people are calling a YouTube university. Because you basically have information at your foot tips, and it's blowing people's minds. People have access to information they've never had before.
And it's moving
and
fast.
I think that with the building of institutions, I was reading in other countries, they teach at an elementary school level meditation, the importance of loving yourself, the importance of knowing that we're all connected. Imagine learning that in an elementary school, coming out of a public school education with a good sense of self. That makes a world of difference. And it's, I agree with Syfr. We do need to build our institutions because the education system not teaching that to our children.
Right. Would you like to chime in on that, sister?
It's my experience that we all become the educational system. Okay, so for my own physical existence here, I was born with some type of malady, and over the years, I've learned to first neutralize that malady. Then at one point, I had chronic bronchitis and asthma, and so by the time I was in high school, I was like, I don't want this anymore. So I know firsthand, up close and personal, because I'm very curious, I did the research. Asthma, that's an Ascari parasite. Pass through the umbilical cord, pass through body fluids, pass through, sweat, whatever. Once I started comprehending, then I could start undoing, and then I become what it is. I model it, I project it, I speak to it. I'm just it. So people talk to me all the time. And it throws me off because I'm in my own little yaya land. And people will come up and say, oh, blah, 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 blah. A young gentleman came up the other night and he was like, I like your ankh. Now this brother came from behind me. I like your ankh. And I'm like, oh, thank you. Click, 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 click. Oh, of course, I am it. I am the awakening. I am the recovered. I am a part of the solution of this. When we become this, it radiates.
Come on. Yes.
It radiates, people feel it, people can smell it, they want some of it. How you doing? They get right there. So yes, we are going to build physical institutions because that's just what humankind does. And we build long-lasting edifices, things that cannot be denied, because that is what we do. First, though, we have to be it in order to conceive it.
And I appreciate you speaking about the umbilical cord and the transformation or the energy that goes through the umbilical cord. We were just at
Dr. Joy DeGruy.
Yes, and she was speaking about the umbilical cord, the information traveling down. Was talking, as a matter of fact, she was speaking about the womb, how it is a storehouse for collective information.
The genetic memory.
And so if the womb, if we can speak on it, and either one of you can speak on it, I'm still learning a lot of this here, but the womb itself, if it is not protected, if it is not nurtured, if it is not fed good vibration, then it passes on what is called, the sister Afu, Queen Afu, call it negative power, negative vibrational power through the womb. So if the woman is given birth to this power, let me ask you, Syfr Zero, how do the man play a role into this negative vibration power into the womb?
Well, we have to recognize that on you know, we have to look at things on a mental, physical, and a spiritual level. So the world has been taken off base. Going back to the title or the topic of what we're looking at, you know, we can discuss things in different ways, and we're really saying the same thing. So what my sister has said here, she's really broken down the Bible. She's really broken down the Quran. She has really broken down the spiritual wisdom teachings in the world. We are living in the time of revelations, what Sister Akhi was talking about, and the quickening, the information coming fast. We are in Revelations right now, which means revealings, the revealings of things. It speaks of a nation being born. She made mention that when we build, especially as Black, Asiatic, African people, we build for, I'm just going to say it this way, we build for eternity. And so we build long lasting. We talked about, and I'm going to come right back to what you asked me, but we talked about Kemet being a civilization that lasted for 3,000 years. Because, in fact, I was a part of ASCAC in the 80s, the Association for the Study of Classical African Civilizations, and one of the conference, one year, one of the conference titles was Building for Eternity, after like our ancestors, you know. And so that's spoken of in the scriptures. We don't know that a lot of that stuff as Black people, as the root people, as the seed people, that it is talking about us. That when it talks about the concept of Christ, she spoke on that when she said that we become it. If we change that over into Matter, just Beckham. You know what I'm saying? Kim is Black, B is pure Blackness. Everything comes out of that. Black Lives Matter. So, I mean, now we mixing up the knowledge, right? We going deeper. Some people, so going back to something you said earlier, people are ready for kind of the way that I just spit that out and kind of mesh those things together. People are ready to go on that level. We've been fed base knowledge, and they're really ready for the next level. So as man, we have to recognize, I'll touch on one that's very touchy for a lot of people right here, right now. If the Creator is the same today as was yesterday and forevermore before that, then when did woman come from man rib? How the hell did that happen? If the Creator is organically, naturally, logically, and rationally works in this organic and natural way, how and when did the shift and the change happen? Why would woman come from man rib in the first place? When?
I don't know.
Right. So if I may say, first of all, everything comes out of a womb. Everything comes out of a womb.
Well, I'm in total agreement, but when we are talking about people that have been conditioned just the opposite, how?
Kicking and fighting, right? So, but so how are we going to get there? Because we have to teach, we have to come to truth, and the truth shall set us free. Clarity shall set us free. And one of the things that has to happen with the man is he has to begin to, we have to love ourselves to love others. We have to love ourselves. How you gonna love the Creator God if you don't love yourself? How you gonna love the woman, man, if you don't love yourself? How the woman gonna love the man if she doesn't love herself? And so we have to get to some truth though, first of all, and we have to tell the truth about that. Those are Johnny-come-lately stories that don't come from us. You know, so the Creator has not changed. You know what I'm saying? Everything everything comes out of a womb.
So you speak in male, female energy is all of one yin and yang, and so to speak.
In a sense, one of the things that I'm saying though is that we have to totally re-educate ourselves, because man has to face up to truths about who he is and who the woman is. I've talked with a lot of brothers, so this now we're getting right to what you asked me, because if we're going to nurture the room, you have to truly love yourself in order to love the woman who houses the womb. She's the womb man.
That's right.
Therefore, we have to deal with the truth of who she is, and she's first. It was a female or a masculine, feminine type. It was a man with a womb, because everything come out the womb.
A lot of
I don't
men.
care about them Negroes.
We're gonna have a whole lot. We gotta be real.
Them Negroes gonna fall off if they don't get with it.
Okay, you know what?
Women can stop producing us if they choose to.
But you need that male energy. You have to have that male energy.
They gonna produce the right ones when they get rid of the foolish ones.
You think so?
Man,
you really think so?
If we don't step up our game, so that's why you and I are sitting here.
Well, I'm in agreement partly, but I'm saying this: the masses of our, I'm assuming, I don't like to assume much, But I'm assuming the masses, based on how we have been taught from a spiritual or religious perspective,
Even just on a societal
the
level.
masses of our folks are not going to buy that the woman is the head of the household, sort of.
Well, nobody said that. I didn't
Well,
say that.
well, I'm speaking, but in some respects you did.
But
In
that's
some
almost
respect.
but that's almost like assuming, because that's not what I said. We want to be clear. What I said that the woman was first in creation. The womb is first. Everything comes out of a womb. Even if
Not
we go
from a religious
no, even from a
perspective.
religion. Let me give it to
Okay,
you.
break
Even
it
from
down
let's
then,
go to
so our
Bible
viewers
and
can
Quran. Let's
understand.
talk about the spirit of that which we call God moved into what?
I'm sorry.
Moved up on the void, moved upon the waters that were in the void. The void is the universe and or the omniverse. That's the womb.
How do you come to that conclusion?
What is the void?
I'm just asking because
The universe and or omniverse is that void, and the water was there already. It tells you that in the book, as well as other books and in science.
which book? The Bible?
The Bible, the Quran,
I
other
know
holy
that-
books, and even in so-called science. And I'm tired of actually calling these folks world and the stuff that they come up with science, because science, the root of science is Syfr, which means to know.
So in other words, you're saying it's a
the way that you begin
pseudoscience.
to know. I mean, I don't even want to call it pseudoscience. I don't want to use the word science. They don't know nothing. Our children don't know nothing. This stuff is false. We finna break this world
A
down.
lot of false science, yes.
You said it's
We'll call
a
it
lot of-
false science then, pseudoscience, whatever. All right.
False.
False knowing,
Science.
yeah. False
Okay.
knowing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you speak in institutions and building our own institution, but if we're the largest consumers in America, I mean, we're buying FUBUs, boo-boos, and everything else that you want to, and we're not putting the finances back into areas where it
Because we're
really needs to be.
fools.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Now, come on, let's get with it. Let's get with
dollar
it.
may not, I mean,
Let me address that because I hear that a lot. I've been hearing that for 20 years.
Okay.
About what we're not doing.
uh-oh.
How do you take beings that are sovereign and then you reduce them to subhuman existence in the name of profit and money and expect those beings to have a respect for profit and money in their genetic code? You are really wanting something close to the impossible or some miracles, which all of it exists. It is natural for African descendants of enslaved people born in America to have a genetic discomfort with money because we were sold for money. We were bought with money. How could we possibly embrace money when it has been our death?
Let me ask you this. Can we embrace it with a new theology? Can we
A new
embrace it?
philosophy.
Can we embrace it, or do we need to embrace it from a spiritual perspective in order to dig self out of this situation?
Well, I think it's necessary. We have to at some point. I think we can embrace it.
Okay.
I think we can embrace ourselves. I think we can embrace new ideas. I think
Right.
what everyone comes through a different door of knowledge. And what is necessary is that we start bridging the gaps because everyone has a piece of the puzzle,
Right.
but not all the information. And so we need to look at people as whole people and look at different realms of what's going on and start giving that to people because some people are really good on the health thing and on top of it have no idea about the energies and the metaphysical. You mentioned earlier about the womb and the sacred womb. And it's interesting because if you look at how a male and a female give each other energies and where the chakras go back and forth like a snake, when that doesn't happen, the sacral chakra gets depleted in the woman, and that affects money, that affects how we create, that affects so many different things, but we don't have that information.
Come on.
And Yaya mentioned that she was afflicted with some ailments and it had got And I chuckled a bit because I was like, oh, that's a door. When we're afflicted with something, that's how I came into my my knowledge, because I had to do a whole bunch of research and experimentation and trying this and trying that and going to this workshop and that. And because trying to be whole, getting back to my whole self and loving myself. And I think that once we do that, then we can walk our path, because each one of us have a divine thing that we are called to do. And when we
Divine
truly
assignment.
love
right.
ourselves and we get into our divine assignment, then these things that the world is talking about, if we want to build an institution or we want to, go out and do something else, a garden, whatever it is to do, but we need to be in our divine assignments.
You know what she's saying, let's just take it to the bigger scheme then, in terms of what you're pulling and pushing on, and the whole nature of what we're talking about. We know that there's the parasites on the planet, and we know that energy comes from the metaphysical, metaspiritual realm, and we know that we're affected on every level. So it's a matter of us where we're headed back forward to now in mass as a whole. And that don't mean everybody when
It's
we
gonna
say
make
that.
it, right.
A lot of people gonna fall off. The weak gonna fall off.
Right.
The weakest link gonna fall off. What our sister spoke to earlier in terms of organisms in nature. And interestingly enough, the word nature, let's look at it, because we're reclaiming stuff. And so nature is very much related to the word netter or nature from the first language, the Medu-netter, which in Greek they called the hieroglyphics. Hiero being holy, glyphic meaning language, words, pictures, picture writing, whatnot. So even they called what our ancestors were doing holy or sacred, which is what we call it. So Medu-netter.
Oh, that's some backwater. You're going to, listen. You're going too deep, okay? You're going off the
That's
wall
what the
because
people ready for.
we have to be, so in other words, we have to really school.
Yeah, we can't be like Reverend Hogmaw and Reverend Porkchop no more. The people not even trying to go there no more.
We can't be like them.
No.
But look, I grew up on the hog. Okay,
But
so
you
I'm
don't eat it
okay.
now.
I'm okay with the hog. Now I'm just playing the advocate here. But really, on a serious note.
So we're transforming, is what we're talking
Okay.
about. And as a whole. And it's in the books. It's just different languages. When she mentioned different doorways. So because we're a lot of times people argue and they're saying the same things, but it's in different language. You might be speaking the Islamic Arabic language and coming from that religious slant. If we don't look at the things that appear to be differences, we can see that you're saying the same thing in your
We have a lot of
Christian
commonality,
dialect.
in other words.
Yeah, but then if for the black man and woman what's critical, see, is that all of that is Johnny-come-lately stuff, because we're the root. There's a prayer in Islam called the Al-Asir prayer. It's the prayer that they do at midday when the sun is at its highest point. Well, let's look at the language. Al-Asir. That sounds like Asar to me, which the Greeks called Osiris, which is what? When man, and especially man, stands upright, is in his 90-degree alignment, when he becomes aligned with the life force and gives true respect and love and honor to the woman. And is aligned with the life force, he becomes God in the flesh. That's Asar. And so in Islam, they do that now. Also in ancient Kemet, at the which Washington, D.C. is modeled after, at the mall with the lake and the tekenu, or the bin, or the obelisk in Greek. Our ancestors called it the bin. And so, but we did baptisms there all day long. So if we study our own history and culture, if we study the true knowledge of the world,
You say if we study our own language, we have to
Our
have
own
we
history
have
and
to
culture.
build. We first have to build, as we were talking about the institutions.
well, we have one institution right here, and it's called Kinara Sankofa Productions.
You know,
I think we also need to spend more time in nature.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And
in
I think
nature-
that is one of the most significant things
Yes.
that we can do.
Right.
Is
That's
go
real.
and just be quiet, observe, see what we see, show respect and admiration for what we see.
You know what's so
And
deep about
listen.
that?
Listen.
Yes.
Okay,
Because
so
we,
it's
have,
up- really
we
it's up
don't
to-
really need to express all of these different information from all of these things.